During my youth, I experienced forgiveness as something that I granted to others, as though my hatred for the perpetrator, my inability to forgive, would somehow punish that person. And if I did grant forgiveness, it would be a reprieve for that person. However, about 30 years ago, in my early 40s, I went through a self-committed, self-led process of forgiving and developing empathy. And this freed my life of hatred and brought so much peace into my heart and into my mind. It took time, took a few years, but the freedom that I began to feel was amazing. When asked to reflect on the process that I used, I knew it took time, but I really could not generalize or speak about it with any comfort so that it could be utilized by others. Sister Janet's book, Let This Be the Time, helped me to realize that the steps that I took were necessary before being able to forgive the alcoholism that was a big part of my family. And it was especially prevalent with my father. I first had to confront the fact that that hatred that I felt had really not impacted specifically my father, but it had kept me a prisoner. I was a prisoner of hatred. And the hatred that I felt infected all aspects of my life, because the emotional state of hatefulness is not a single attitude toward one person or a group, but it's an all-encompassing attitude that was stifling my growth in my faith, growth in self-actualizing, growth in my ability to love myself as well as others, especially my father. Secondly, I had to refocus on the good that came with who my father was. He was the oldest of 4 children. As a child and young adult, he'd lived through the Great Depression, World War II, and he had, in his family, they accepted alcoholism as a way of life. So I didn't see these as excuses, but it helped me to develop empathy for my father. And while I would not forget the problems, I was able to let go of the pain, the anger, and the resentment so that I could move forward in my own life and move in a positive direction. I did not feel the need to sit down and discuss any of this with my father, but I did feel the need to begin showing him the love that I really had for him. And in his declining years, that love was greatly returned. I had made the choice to forgive, to let go of the resentment, to stop revisiting the hurt repeatedly, and to let go of the pain and move forward with my life without the burden of hatefulness. This was the gift of life and health that I gave to myself. It was, as Sister Janet shares, liberating.